Hello and welcome to Tae Kwon Do Training. I'll be instructor for today's show, Bob Lemire. Also an instructor will be Major Battle, Master Major Battle. Major, welcome back. Major was at our last show a couple weeks ago, and we showed a little clip of Major and myself fighting in the tournaments and stuff, which was about 35 years ago. Major's a national champion, New England champion, mass champion. I mean, he's a champion for many, many, many years. And I've always wanted to get him on the show. He lives in the Boston area. Yes. He's in the Boston area. So between work and between traveling and stuff, kind of tough to get out, especially with family and all. But I finally got him. So the first show we did was all kind of basic technique. And Major, we're going to do, what do you want? We're going to do some follow-up with punches?
Follow-up with punches,
yeah.
Hand techniques. Because, I mean, we hear people saying, oh, Tae Kwon Do don't use hands. And we do have hand techniques.
Oh, we do. As we mentioned, we talked earlier, we don't use hands because we're kind of flashy with our feet.
With the feet.
And,
yeah. Right.
The hands seem, kind of easier. But especially when you're in tournaments, as we said, you can't really score too much.
No, you can't score too much, and they look more for the kick.
They want that kick, yeah.
But it's good to know the punch, so that way, if you're in a situation where you have to use your hands, you can.
When you're
know
in
how.
Close, yeah.
In close
or if not a punch, knife hand, or
knife
maybe
fist,
even
right.
back fist.
Back fist, yes. Some tournaments do allow that. I think a lot of the point tournaments, the back fist is
right.
a
Without
strike.
contact.
Without contact. Yeah. Unless if you go in the black belt division, I think they let you allow a little bit more contact to it, or even the ridge hand, knife hand.
Right, yeah. So what we did in the first show was, I think, as I remember, we did an axe kick, we did a front round kick, and we did a spin wheel kick. Yes. And that was, just so you could see. And those were the kicks that we're really impressed with, and judges really impressed with, that knock people out in tournaments. They're just so powerful. Right. So we went over that. What we're going to do is we're going to try to elaborate on a kick and a punch, or a kick and some hand technique, whatever it may be. And whether it's tournament related or not, or just self-defense. It's going to be, again, the show, we try to keep this show basic so that at home you can try some of this stuff. So basic's going to, the basic moves that Major's going to show, you can try some of it at home. We're going to use some pads. He's going to go very, very lightly and slow so that you can see the technique, and then we'll talk about a couple of this is a little more advanced. It's going to be two techniques, right? Is that what we were going to do?
Two techniques.
Two or three techniques
Two or three techniques. If we can add an extra one in there, we can.
Yeah. And it'll be easy stuff. So I think the first one, did you want to do the side thrust?
Side thrust.
You want to hold
the lead leg. Off the lead leg side thrust.
All right, lead leg side thrust.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from here, it's as if a boxer's using a jab. Bang. From here, pow. Okay. Here, pow. Now, when I land, after I land, bang, I rechamber my leg, I land. Knife hand strike or back fist. So again, the way it looks,
side thrust.
Oh, back fist.
Right.
That's with the back fist.
Right.
Next one's going to be with the ridge hand. Bang. Ridge hand. Boom.
So if we were fighting, he'd come in with a side thrust, hit me here, all right, boom. That's how that works. Or a back fist. That's a little combination. And what's happening is, I think if you notice, even though he's leading with his right leg, he's kind of moving in to get there. He's got that little hop. Then he gets closer. All right. So you have to judge. So if we were this far apart, he'd have to make another move. You know what I'm saying? He would have to take that step to come in. All right. So see, if he's that far apart, he has to take a step to come in.
Right. Step.
Go in.
Boom.
Boom.
Kick.
Then come in with a back kick.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, and if I'm here, if I'm really close, he doesn't have to do it. He's maybe a little. And if you notice, even though he's close, he's got a little hop, and that's just to get the momentum.
Just to get the momentum to go
Right.
forward.
Right.
Like that. And then once I come in close, hand technique. Or the back fist.
Back fist, right. And both of them are lethal. If you're doing a knife hand, maybe with the neck and
the side of the neck.
the side of the neck,
face, under the earlobe here.
under the earlobe, anywhere on the head.
Anywhere.
But if you hit here in the neck with that knife hand, if he hits me with a knife hand here, I'm done. I'm telling you right now, especially in martial arts, trained martial arts. your body can't take that. Just your neck can't take it. You're going to either be knocked out or whatever, worse.
Right.
Back fist, you're going for probably the temple.
The
same
temple,
thing.
the jaw.
The jaw,
side
the
of
temple.
here.
Love the back fist.
Yes.
You know,
Love the
and what do we? The two front knuckles.
Two front
Two
knuckles.
front
if you come
knuckles.
across, bang.
Yeah.
With the momentum of that swinging it, bang. It's just as if you're swinging a baseball bat.
That's right. There you go. Now it's funny you say that because as they watch the show, and I get a lot of people who watch it regularly. Every show I'm either swinging a bat or I'm doing golf, and I'm showing them the hip jog, and I'm showing them the way you. Any sports, even a football player, a quarterback, he's using the whole momentum. Your hips, your knees, your ankles.
Right. Your power comes from your hip.
All comes from the hip, and then you just relax. Got to be relaxed.
Yes.
Always got to be relaxed.
And it's at that moment of impact, that's when you tighten up. At
Yeah.
that moment of impact. Same as if you're punching from here. I'm just going to do it from here. Once the moment of impact and the two fists meet, boom, you explode right into it. You want to explode.
And notice he's got his hand one way, and as he's turning, he's snapping it right at the last second, and then his hips moving right in there. That's a perfect punch, all right. Especially, and that's his right. If you're a righty, that's going to be a knockout punch. And as he's throwing the punch, look at his other hand. You're doing the block, and never leaves your face. I often say, a lot of big shots, they fight like this, right? Well, I might have done it myself maybe sometime. But boy, you're looking to get nailed.
Right. You're looking to get nailed because you see a lot of people that have their hands down, but their chin will be out like that. They won't tuck their chin in or anything like that, or even grit their teeth or anything like that, and not realizing you get popped, you're going to go down. Anybody.
Anyone. Well, there's always a fast guy out there, someone who could be faster.
Yes.
And if they're up here and protecting themselves, all right, and you're down here, they throw a front round kick or something, you're going to block it. You might even hurt them again, as we mentioned in the last show.
Right.
Front round kick, a punch, and
or punch.
you're
You can
hitting,
hurt your,
yeah, you break your fingers and break your toes because of my elbows. So that was side thrust. What we were talking about? Front round kick?
Front round kick.
Front round kick,
yep.
And then following with a punch.
Following with a punch. And again, from here, front round kick, say if you did score your point, bang, but your opponent comes in, you come in. As you come in, you want to punch. So after I kick, bang, I want to come down. As I land, I want to punch at the same time.
All that momentum, right.
Because he's going to close the distance. As he closes the distance, as he comes in, I want to come in. But when I come in, bang, and I'm aiming for his chest area here. If you're out in the streets and something different, then of course the face.
Right. And the thing is also, as he does the front round, so if Major and myself were fighting, he threw a front round, hit me in the stomach, all right, with the front round, a lot of times, you drop your hands because you got hit hard. Then with the punch, you're right there, all right? So you hit someone, they might drop, front round kick, and then punch. Then the punch. And especially if we're sparring, so if we're moving around, boom, boom.
Bang.
That's how you want to practice
Bang.
stuff like that. Moving around,
moving
around.
around. See the bang, bang, bang.
Just come straight in.
But in competition, after you punch, you may tie up, clinch and everything, but you did score the punch. Same time, you still keep your hands here because you don't know if they're coming down with an axe kick or if they're going to push off and kick.
Right. Yeah. Tying up is it's been so many years since I've competed, and I really don't know. I don't follow that fighting as much anymore. And I don't know if they tie up. Do they still tie up like
I've seen a few where if you go on YouTube, you see a few of the Tae Kwon Do tournaments, and you see them tying up, but they're sort of like...
They tie up this way.
They tie up this way, and then the referee will finally come in because they're going like this.
If you hold, you get a point taken.
You get a point taken away. So a lot have changed since we competed.
We used to hold.
We used to hold. We used to hold and stuff.
Hey, hold, push off,
and then push off and kick. Right, you could get away with that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the rules has changed, and I mean, you see people... They're even taller and longer, and they're faster, and they're throwing axe kicks, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm not in there.
So that tying up is important, and I'm glad you brought that up. Because say he throws the front round kick, right? Throws a punch, then I want to come in, you just tie up. Now you tie up a person like that. Now after you tie up, it doesn't mean everything stopped. You can also come back,
push off, And move back, move back.
Little stop coming back. You hit. When you hit on the ribs, and you've had broken ribs before.
Yes.
You break a rib, you're done. You don't want to
You're
fight.
done.
You can't really fight.
It's hard to breathe.
It's
and
hard to
everything,
breathe.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. And the floating ribs.
floating ribs, yes.
Yeah, the
yes.
floating
And
ribs.
if
Even with the pads we would wear, the floating ribs were always a little open.
they were still open because
Or if you moved here and you hit with a back kick,
right.
or a reverse
even
round
the
kick.
kidneys, even the kidney
In
area
the kidney
there
area, yeah.
too. You know,
And
you automatically will go down or something like that. Not
then it's hard to breathe. You're lost the will to fight because the pain is just too much. And all this to do is on a floating rib is be a minor fracture.
right.
It doesn't have to be a break, a minor slight fracture. And if you feel your floating ribs, there's nothing there. They're floating, and they're floating. It's
Right.
There's nothing really holding them. So we would go try to get that.
Try to get that thing. And that's why it's always important to keep your hands up, your elbows down, so that way you'll be able to turn with it. If someone
That's
kicked,
right, yeah.
you turn with it. Or
And
if
they
you did
knew-
turn the opposite way, your
Right.
hand was here, or you kind of
Right, you throw the block.
threw the block
and you come
out
in.
there.
And we mentioned that earlier that if you want to hit the ribs, but
Right.
if someone knows how to use their elbows, all right, you come in with the ribs, you're going to kick their elbows, and you break your toes, or you hurt your instep.
Right.
So that's a strategy. If someone really wants to 45 kick, a 45 or
kick,
front round
even a front kick. If you did like a basic front kick like that,
right.
sometimes a person could even put their ribs where they turn.
Right.
But you're kicking at your elbows,
Yeah,
you break your toe because you're kicking with the ball.
And
of your foot.
you're fighting so fast sometimes you can't. You're throwing a kick at something open. It's not open a second later.
Right.
And
Right.
how many times you throw a front round kick and someone's got their knee up?
Right, exactly. You end up kicking their knee, and sometimes that could be the opposite when you put your knee up, because now the person hurt their knee.
right, right.
Or sometimes it could be where they move back, and you just gave them a Charlie horse on the thigh area there.
I know you've seen the same thing. I remember I've judged fights, and I remember judging a fight, two kids fighting. They both gave the hardest front round kick that they could possibly give, and they both hit their shins. One of them didn't make it, and the shin snapped.
Yes.
It completely snapped in half.
Right.
And that's just the way it
That's
is,
the way- right, right.
It's so much power going into attack that if you hit the wrong thing, your body's not.
Your
gonna-
body's going to go down. You're going to go down. You're not going to get back up.
No,
and
you're not.
You'd be like,
Yeah. You're gonna
all
try.
You're going to try.
You
right.
always try. and you
Right,
say,
right.
"No,
I
you're
remember
done."
the first time I sparred, and I did Tae Kwon Do, and I sparred, and I clashed shin. I didn't want to get back up.
No,
and
no, yeah.
Mr. Kim's like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Staying down here. I'm staying down here. But I got back. I had to get back up.
You got to get back up. Yeah. Well,
know,
that's the
following week, I bought the shin and
indomitable
instep
spirit,
pads.
right, yeah,
Exactly.
yes, All right. So what else did we have? We had what we were gonna do
Spinning kick.
a spinning kick.
Spinning kick, and with the hand technique.
Yeah.
And again, from here, the spinning kick technique from here, pow. Usually, after you do the spinning technique, sometimes it brings you closer. As you come down, punch, punch. Have your hands up. And again, from here, I got my hand closed down. I'm moving, 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 catch the guy, bang. As I come down, boom, I'm punching, bang. A lot of times in tournaments, you can't punch to the face,
Right.
so I'm going for the chest area. So from here, bang, and then bang. If I'm a little taller than my opponent, I kind of punch downward. Boom, boom. So even if they see the chest protector, or they call it hogu, if it moves, they're going to know I scored a point.
Right.
They're going to hear the punch.
And you're gonna hear it.
And you're going to boom, boom, boom. It's going to move. The chest is going to move.
Also, even if you weren't doing the martial arts, you reverse round kick, and if you're getting close enough, a good elbow to the
Yep.
to the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
here.
It's a here,
Pow.
boom, comes straight in. That an elbow,
momentum.
elbow to the chin, or to the jaw, it's over. It's over. A
Because your
good elbow.
momentum carries you. It carries you.
I always liked the elbow, and over the years, they're
Yes.
big and they're all beat up. And
Yes, yeah. No,
floating
it's,
bones.
Right, right. It's actually a good technique because a lot of times when you're in close fighting, and there's a lot of people that are dirty fighters, so when they get in close, they'll
Right.
throw the elbow, bang, or they'll hit the sternum area
straight
or the suplex area, your sternum here, bang, come across like that with the elbows. It's a good technique to know, for the streets, but, in tournaments, I know it's not really allowed, but it's good to know to have the idea.
Right, right. You know what I'd like to let's try something that's I'd like to give him one really good advanced technique.
Sure.
How about give a spin kick and then a front round kick?
Spin kick in front?
So say a spin kick here, because I know you've done those. A spin kick,
from
then
here.
stepping in.
Bang.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's a nice technique for. And that kind of technique. So if he missed, if we're sparring, and he threw the reverse round kick, right?
Bang.
Missed, but then he comes in. All right. Or if I was to go in and try to attack him, he's doubling up on the kick. All right. And the nice thing about that is you pick up momentum with that front round kick.
Right.
You know?
Throwing a combinations of kicks.
Right. And it's
Okay. So from here, like here, bang, then come, bang.
Yep, front round and reverse round
Yep.
kick. Yep. So again, front round kick.
Round kick from here, bang. And again, my hands are right here,
Right.
so
He's ready
if I
to
have to
punch
punch, if I'm ready to punch, I'm tucking my jaw in, I'll close, throw in a couple of punches.
And then you notice after he's done any technique, the hands come up here, ready to punch. All right. But he's also ready to kick again. All right.
Yes.
And after he's ready, maybe he throws a couple punch, always getting ready to throw another kick and another hand technique. I tell them, especially in combinations, think of combinations like not just 2 or 3, infinity. You could go on forever.
go on.
So be in the position you want to be. After you throw a kick, you throw another kick, you throw another kick. You're always ready, all right? And then you start throwing some hand technique. You're always in a good stance, and your hands are always up. You notice his hands are always up. What do you do for just some footwork? So just show them some footwork.
Sure.
So if we're sparring,
Well,
and I'm going to put this away.
Sure.
Say we're sparring, and you, say for example,
Right.
you're trying to trick me out with
Right. To try to draw my opponent in closer, I might try something like this, where I fake, I come back. Now, as he decides to come in, bang, I can come with a 45-degree rounds kick. Or again, when we're talking about the hands, I do this, bang, bang, he decides to come in, reverse punch. Like that.
So you come in and come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Another one is where I'm faking as if I'm sprinting. So, bang. What I'm trying to do is catch my opponent to freeze a little bit. So if he freezes, bang. Freezes just a split second, I pop him. Whether it's a kick or a punch.
Right.
But I want to catch them where they freeze for just a slight moment.
Right. And notice he's staying on the balls of his feet. And especially if a lot of times, like there's stepping back, and then there's swapping back,
Right.
and then there's hopping in. There's so many different exercises.
In and out. Right.
Do a whole class on just
footwork.
different
on footwork. Whether you're either stepping forward, you're stepping backwards. If you're spinning around, you move back because you want to create more distance.
Right.
If you're stalling for time, particularly if you're up on points or something like that, which was one of my favorites. If I knew I was up on points, I kind of create the distance between them. Now he has to come to me.
Right.
Now,
nothing
but
to lose.
Right, nothing to lose. But now if I'm behind, I have to go to him.
Right.
So now that's when I try to fake it, boom, score my points to catch up or to tie.
Right, yeah. And as I say, when you're training and you're in front of a mirror and you just want a great workout, instead of jogging and you don't want to go out, you're in front of the mirror, work on your footwork.
Yes.
And you want to be as relaxed as you can.
Yep.
You got to be, and you just want to keep all your joints, all right, moving.
Yep, nothing rigid.
Nothing tight.
Rigid.
Right. And then you throw a kick, and then you throw 2 kicks. Right. And then you throw. So.
Even when you're warming up, even if you just throw the kick slightly, pow.
That's right. As long as you're right.
Like that, just like that.
And you just keep doing
You just
different
keep
things.
moving, doing different
and it's not always going to be pretty. It's not a dancer. But the more you do it, the more confidence you're going to get.
Yeah.
And
becomes second nature.
Second nature. And if you were to do a lot of training like that, and practice that, and then you spot someone who never did it. Now you've spotted people. I know I've spotted people who were just tight, and I'm like, oh my God, this isn't going to take long.
Right.
You know right
They're
here.
nervous,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
So-
and they're just tight, and they're not moving. And if you're moving around like this, they're not going to get you, all right? And the confidence that it gives you because you've practiced that.
You practice it all the time.
Right.
And as you kept doing it over and over, it becomes second nature. As you keep practicing it, you know, you just keep moving, and then you can work on your other techniques where you know, okay, this is going to be an easy match.
Right.
Okay, I work on other techniques I never done before. That's when you
Right, that's
practice the new ones.
As I mentioned in the first show, when I used to, we would compete. He got me so many times with that axe kick. Right?
And he got me with a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, it's just aggravating. I'm like, how did I let him do it again, especially on my nose? But anyway, how about a combination with an axe kick? Anything that you really like to go with that? Great.
What I used to like to do is if I did an axe kick, then a spinning axe kick, which was like a surprise to people. Where if I'm just going to do it from here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it close, but it was like bang, pow.
And then come straight down.
And you come straight down.
Right, and they weren't ready for
They
that.
weren't really expecting it, and it was
Right.
sort of like a surprise because they would think that it's either going to be a jumping turning side kick or a jumping spinning wheel
Right.
kick,
Right.
but when it's an action, they're like, oh, it's already too late, like that.
Right.
That's sort of like I'm doing the outside axe, and the outside axe is actually I'm just setting them up. From here, I'm just setting them up. Now from here, I keep the momentum as I'm turning,
And then you come down
come
again.
down again, bang,
Right.
like that.
So as you did the first one, they know it's coming. They try to go back, but you're flying
My
right at 'em.
momentum's keeping
Yeah.
me flying going
Yeah.
forward, so they back up only so much, and then they stop, and I kind of anticipate where they're going to back up with.
Right.
Bang, catch you with the second one. And again, I'm aiming. If I don't catch the face, you can even land on the chest.
Almost anywhere you're going to aim, you're going to get a point.
You're gonna get a
If-
point,
If you
right.
get through. Because one thing about that axe kick, and he was so fast with the axe kick, I never saw it coming, never mind trying to block it. Yeah, you can't block it. If I was to do an X block, maybe he'd go right through it. And you know, you could do a double block. The power of that axe kick as it's coming down with his momentum and the power of the strength of your legs,
Right.
it just goes right through. It's like butter. It goes right through the body. And that's what gets a lot of your opponents there.
And imagine doing that in the air, coming down.
Coming
Not
down.
only you're in the air, but the gravity pulling you down.
Down.
Bam.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
down.
And
I mean, you can even land on a sternum or the solar plexus.
Anywhere,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that.
And the thing is, we're talking about doing this with people with pads. You don't have pads on, and you get hit with any of these, believe me,
Yeah.
it knocks you out. It knocks you out if not.
And we came from an era where when we were fighting,
Yeah.
they had no headgear, and
No
we've
headgear.
seen people getting
Many years ago, they had
Many
no
years,
headgear.
right, no headgear.
And we just thought I thought it was great.
right. Well, I thought it was great too. I'm like, and I'm looking back at it, I'm like, man, what were we thinking? You
We
know?
don't want headgear. It's just,
Right.
just a pain in the
Just-
neck.
yeah, it was just-
yeah. I can't even breathe with this thing on my head. Well, it's funny. We were talking about the little
little thing.
that made no sense. That was so if you fell, but you,
Right.
couldn't keep it on your head. you
Right,
know, that's
right.
the-
And it was slippery gym floor too, and the gym floor was either wood or it was cement or rubber or something like
Right.
that. So
Now I'm pretty sure they're all on mats.
they're all on mats now. They're
Good-
all on
good
mats,
s-
sort of like wrestling mats or
Yeah.
something like that, and they're thick and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, only problem I found with that, last time I trained on one of those, man, was trying to bring the kick up fast, maybe because I just wasn't used to it. So
Right, you're gonna try to twist with it,
Try
and
to
now you're
twist
stuck
with
it
it,
to
I'm
the ground.
stuck in the
Yeah,
ground.
you gotta get used to it.
Right,
Yeah, because
right.
I ended up buying mats at the school, and it took a lot of students and myself. You almost had to lift your foot up instead of turning.
Turning,
Because when
right.
you turn on the floor, it's slippery. When you turn on a mat, you stick to the mat, so your leg don't want to turn. You
Right.
almost have to adjust, and that's the way fighting is. You
Right,
adjust.
exactly. I remember when I took Taekwondo at J. Kim Taekwondo, they had carpets. I remember the carpets, and you had carpet burns. People getting carpet burns.
But it was slippery.
It was slippery.
Yeah, it was-
And then if you fell, it was concrete underneath.
Oh, no,
So-
I know, same thing. Most of it. And you know, it's funny because it got so slippery sometimes because your feet got so dry
Right.
with a carpet. We used to take pads that had
The
carpet
rosin,
on,
right.
and we'd put water on it, and then we'd spar.
Right, right.
so
We was
we'd
doing
stick-
that. We was doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
you had to do that so you wouldn't slip.
right. Or you
up.
got one of those rosin pads or something like that, and you
That's right.
put on
yeah.
there and stuff. But
Well, you know, it's funny because you do anything you can just to keep the edge.
right.
And that's just what that's what all sports is about.
Yes.
You got to figure out how much training you do.
Right.
And you got to do it every day. You can't say, I'm sick, I'm tired. You just do it. And you do it. And the funny thing is, when we fought, I think we fought at 135, 135
Yeah,
pounds?
yes, yes.
135 pounds.
Not there anymore.
You're all muscle right there. That's about all the time we got. Again,
All right,
Major, that
thank
was
you,
so
sir.
much fun
Thank
again.
you. Yes, it
we're going to
was.
get you back on the show many more times. I got to do it, and maybe
Appreciate
one
it.
time
Thank you.
we'll put some pads on.
Yes.
We'll do a couple of rounds in the
Come
studio.
back, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we'll have
yes.
some
Show the
fun.
people what it's like.
Till next time, have fun and train hard.